Changes and Jobs of the Future. It's going to be with Mr. Radim Červený here, who's from the General Electric International. And he's going to be talking about, what to concentrate on at the beginning of your career, as well as before you even start your career, the important skills and all the new technologies that have enabled the so-called fourth revolution, as the Internet of Things and stuff like that. So up to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. I was teaching here last semester, but I am super busy in my permanent job, so I could not follow the next classes. So we do, sitting here, right, teaching most of you. And I was invited to talk about disruptive changes and jobs for the future or in the future, I personally am interested very much about the future. I think most of people would like to know what is going to happen, to be prepared. There are some people that are rather scared or think that there will be some future threats and they don't want to know about it. I have an example. Last week I heard about a new application that can, based on your fitness watch data, can predict the day, the months you will die, plus minus 35 days. I think this is future prediction. It's a little bit too much. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested. I'm not going to buy it. Or I have a question if it's reliable. Right? So historically, people try to forecast future with better or worse success. There were some oracles, some people, leaders, politicians. They like to describe bright future and attract voters for them, and scientists as well. But before talking about how we can predict and if it is reliable and what we should do to be prepared for the future, let me introduce myself. Here is my career path, and this is true story. I was born in the 60s, and my whole family, my friends, neighbors, they all worked in coal mining industry, right? So my parents supposed that I would become also a coal miner or engineer in the mine. So that was their prediction of the future. But coal mines, I don't know if you have, but not many. It's the industry of the past, right? They had gone. When I entered the university, it was in 80s, and the nuclear energy was very popular. And I studied actually the nuclear sciences, and I was expected to become an engineer in a nuclear power plant. We have two here in the country. We were, every year we had 200 graduates, engineers of nuclear sciences. Well, this industry is almost dead today. There is a big pushback against nuclear because of the risks after Fukushima and Chernobyl and so on. So there are still some countries that use nuclear power, but we don't need hundreds of engineers for this job in the country. So many of my friends, they became salespeople of industrial sales, or because they were smart in mathematics, so they became bankers. They work in financial institutions. But they studied nuclear science. Interesting. So again, it was wrong expectations or forecast of the future. 30 years later, I'm still in the energy generation industry, but this is a completely different type of energy generation. Solar, wind, what we call renewable energy. Just last week, my company, and I will introduce in more details what I do, we announced a big deal of a product called GE reservoir. It's a heavy battery storage that is necessary because the power generation from solar and wind is difficult to predict. And often you have surplus, or you have too much power, too much energy in a different moment in time when you need it. So you need battery storage, obviously. So it's becoming a very interesting business, and we sold it to Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia announced that their plan is that they would like to generate 100% of their consumption from solar and wind. But it looks like incorrect information, right? Because Saudi Arabia was connected in the past with crude oil and gas, natural gas. So now they are becoming they will be the biggest user of renewable energy instead of the fossil fuels. And on the opposite, United States became 5-10 years ago, you started your new gas and oil extraction, and you became #1. You produce more than Saudi Arabia today. So the positions of these two big countries actually changed completely on the market. So people that studied, coal industry and were prepared to work in one type of industry in one country, now they are out of the market. There are no places. They need to search for jobs elsewhere in a different type of industry or different type of business, or they can go abroad. So again, the whole generation, years of preparation of these countries became obsolete suddenly. So, if I speak about my job details, so my current job is, we call it OMLP, which means Operations Management Leadership Program. And these are my students, new hires. And I am responsible for hiring, introducing into our organization, and developing new talents. And these are really smart people. This is why I like the job, because I learn from them. We say we have a quote in our organization: we all rise. So I don't know everything. I can still learn new things, and I can be wrong. Young people can be smarter in many things than I am, but they can learn from me. I can learn from them. So we say we learn from each other, and these are very talented people. For example, in Germany, we announced we have 4 new positions, and we have 100 candidates for it. So the competition is hard. And it's probably everywhere on the job market. And this is associated with my job, so I had the opportunity to work for a couple of weeks, months, sometimes even a full year in, I don't know how many, 15 countries maybe. So it's again something that I like about my job, because I can be exposed to different culture, different people, and is very, very rewarding. And so now let's go back to the future, or the prediction of the future, and let's see. There are technologies that change our lives everywhere. And I have an example because I like music. So this is from my life. When I was 10, age of 10, I wanted to have this. This, you know, the tape magnetophone, we call it. I don't know if you have ever seen it on eBay, maybe in antiquities. And the brand was Tesla. You know that there was Tesla before Elon Musk. It was a Czechoslovak company at the time, engineering company, Tesla. You never heard about? Okay. It was a big, big company. Disappeared from the market because they were not competitive anymore. They built this when Japanese started to build that. Okay? So they had gone. And that was my first cassette player or recorder. I had a few cassettes and Walkman came. First Walkman from Sony company, right? But I bought from Sanyo. I spent my monthly salary probably on it. I was one of the first having it, so I was proud owner of Walkman. Sanyo, another big name. Does it exist anymore? I don't know, Sanyo. Maybe in industrial application, but not in consumer industry, not anymore, right? And I had about 50 cassettes probably, if I remember. 75 hours of music. In 90s, I started to collect my CDs, library, and I had probably about 200 hours of music. Now, today, like you, I had to adapt to the new technology, so I'm not the native digital person, as they call it, but I'm more like someone who had to learn, accept the changes. And so I'm on Google Music and Apple Music, and I have instant access to how many, this is what they claim, 40 million of songs from everywhere. I just need to be connected. The interesting point is that I don't own it, so it is a good example actually what is going on in the future economy. Less ownership and more like sharing economy, sharing your cars, apps, just using it when you need it, not own and then potentially resell, but just use it when you need it and pay a fee for it. This is something that didn't exist before, right? So it is difficult to predict what is going to happen to music industry in 20 years from now. Maybe, what do you think? What else can we change? We have everything, every song. You can use the software to recognize any song. Somebody can sing or play, and you find it, and it automatically buys the song or download the song to your device. So what else we need? Will it stay like this? I don't think so, because these businesses, they need to sell more and more, they need to grow. So they will again change. They are developing secretly something, and they're gonna change it, and will either buy or not. Some of them will go in a wrong development direction. They will spend millions of dollars on development, and they will probably fail. Some will win. As I said, forecasting the future is tricky. And I have several short videos. I will try to play the first. This is how in 1920 they thought the year 2000, or almost today, it looked like. That was the music from 1920. Alright, display. Pay attention what technology breakthrough or disruptive changes date forecasting.
Some of the most famous fashion designers in the US today have been asked to forecast what Eve.
Okay, so it was from 1920, so would they like it? That was transportation at that time was something new. New cars, trains, and airplanes especially. So they thought that or in 100 years from then, everybody will have a private airplane and so on. But so they were biased toward transportation. Now, if you look in the forecast, what should be the year 2050, the world like? It is more about different topics. Let's see.
Hopefully flying cars.
Probably flying in cars.
Not flying cars.
I guess we're going to be having much on the moon.
Some of my investors are building spaceships to go to the moon and fly the moon, so yeah, who knows, we could be looking on the moon in 50 years from now.
In 2050, we'll be teleporting overseas, cars will be whirring around above our heads, and we'll shoot media out of our eyeballs.
I think we'll see a lot more than we do with our human eyes.
By 2050, everything will be connected to everything. Any iPhones or TVs and watches, all of that will be just obsolete, and the Jetsons will seem prehistoric as well.
I think it'll really look exactly the same in 2050.
And I think a lot of the diseases will be cured, like diabetes and things like that. We'll understand the immune system a lot better.
No health insurance anymore. The people that need to go to the doctor will be notified to go to the doctor.
I think in 10 years, there's going to be a Fortune 500 company that maybe doesn't exist today. It's going to deal with robotics.
I think most of the Fortune 500 companies may not exist that are existing today.
It will be a world economy versus a country-by-country economy. It's going to be easier for people to go where they need to go, move where they need to move, live where they need to live, and work where they need to work.
The idea of work is changing to these individual people contributing the way they want and letting computers do all that work that's not fit for humans to do.
Wall Street is definitely going to be a complete service site.
In 2050, I think that the world will probably be more of a mess.
The sea level will actually rise, and we're going to see a lot of effects because of it.
It's a dangerous place in 2050. 2050, this country is going to be absolute disaster. We're going to be out of everything. And there's going to be massive wars, plus global warming.
In 2050, I think the world would be pretty awesome. I think that with our current generation and the leaders we have, everything is going to be a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, it was sponsored by. It was sponsored by The Economist, so I think reliable source. What was the difference? Difference was, or there was more attention about on sustainability. We learned from this, I would say, romantic forecast. We learned that every growth will ultimately end sometime, right? So we cannot expand forever, and we need to stay within the limits of our planet, for example, until we discover a way how we can relocate. It's possible, but not today. Nobody knows how to do it probably in the next 50 years. So sustainability. Then, big change about the future forecast from now to the next 50 years versus what was 100 years ago is that they spoke about transportation, and we speak now more about connecting. So you can work from home, from every place, everything is connected. You don't need to bring your work and you together. You can do it like, and I can show you some interesting examples how you can work on problems that are on the other side of the globe without leaving this room. If you like reading about future, there is this book I really like, Michio Kaku. Michio Kaku is an American with Japanese origin probably, but an American physicist. But he left a little bit the science and he's a promoter of science. Do you know the name? Everybody heard about Michio Kaku? No. Okay. I tried. He was one of the inventors or co-inventors of this, all this theoretical physics stuff. And the Big Bang theory, you can hear about it, but it was originally scientific topic, not stand-up comedy. Okay? So, let's see what could be, there are many forecasts. What are the technologies that can influence our future lives? And then ultimately, you need to prepare for it if you want to be successful in your life or in your professional career. I tried to consolidate a little bit because there are many tips, many trends, many proposed technologies. Yeah, we have one, we have another that will transform the world. So I identified about 8 of them, that 8, maybe 10 of them that I think they will have impact and very soon. So what do you think? Anybody can tell me what you are expecting, like your super disruptive technology that changed everything?
I know that Elon Musk is working on something in the US at least that you could get to DC, from DC to New York in 30 minutes. It's only a 4 or 5 hour trip by car or train. I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to cut traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's again an Elon Musk project, right? Because he's a real visionary. He's a poor businessman, but he's a good, great visionary, we say. Yeah. So he is an inventor, inventing new things, but he needs somebody else to really sell it and make it. How is the story with Tesla cars today? Anyway, they cannot make them.
Internet of Things, like everything's connected to everything.
Yeah. Internet of Things. Yeah, Internet of Things is a big. This is on my list definitely. Yeah. So I don't know the name for what you mentioned, but okay. Anybody else? What's your favorite technology that is going to change everything, or yeah?
Well, this is also an Elon Musk invention.
Really?
They're shingles that are solar panels that you can put on houses, so it's not an eyesore or anything.
Yeah.
And they're not much more expensive than to put on a regular roof. And I think with building a lot more houses and with our generation and wanting more sustainable ways of life, I think that can be a really good improvement to save energy.
I totally agree. I am from the power industry, energy industry, so I believe in it, yeah. Distributed energy, everybody will have his own power plant or a group of houses will have it in the future. It's absolutely possible, and yeah, actually, Tesla is one of our competitors in solar business. So,
The concept of grid is changing. Even the concept of grid is changing now.
yeah. So here are my tips. First is, yes, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. We are not far from the moment when the robots or the computers that we created, so we are creators, for them we are gods, but we are not far from the moment they're going to be smarter than us. What will be the next? How this, let's say, two species will work together, will live together? It's a big question. And I just heard that in universities they have courses like ethical principles of working with artificial intelligent robots. So these are not robots like mechanical, but they have intelligence. They, in the future, might have kind of self-consciousness. We don't know yet. So it's going to change a lot of things. Huh? Second is all kind of, goggles, virtual reality or augmented reality. So you can see things that you don't see. You can put digital and real together, like doctors. They can perform surgery, they can learn, and they can have the same, perceptions, feeling, like on a real body, and they don't need dead bodies or even still patients alive before they cut them. So they can do it like this. Next is all kind of drones. Drones for fun, but we use drones. We have started using drones recently for inspecting wind towers. They are like 200 meters tall. I don't know how many feet it is, but really tall, right? Like Eiffel Tower. And nobody wants to climb up and inspect it every week. We can send drone with a high resolution camera, and they can find any crack, any defect on it. Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Is it a hype? Is it real? Will our refrigerator communicate with Amazon food store and replenish the food itself, maybe? Or on the other hand, it also, because it will be an intelligent machine, it will also tell us, hey, I know that your doctor at the fridge is telling you, I know that your doctor said that you are obese. You don't need to eat so much, right? So it will log the fridge, maybe. So Internet of Things. Next is robotics, and that's obvious what it can do. All manual work, like 70% of industry can be automated today already. What is this? What it could be? 3D printing, or we call it additive manufacturing. We are strong in this industry, and I will show a very real example what we can build in 3D printer. Not small stuff, really big. This is representing nanotechnology. So nanotechnology is also a trend that, if you like biologics, medicine, that's an interesting industry that is going to grow immensely. And you probably know, right? This is your generation, disruptive change. Bitcoin, well, not only Bitcoin, blockchain technology, right? Blockchain technology. So everything distributed, there is no centralized. This is what the governments and the central banks are afraid of, that the power will be decentralized. The control of information in every communication will be decentralized. They don't want it. Decentralized but secured at the same time. And yeah, I wrote, this is interesting quote that is not mine, but I like it, that it's going faster and faster. Our problem is that we have been used to learn something for, I don't know, 20 years, school, high school, universities, and then to be ready, and then maybe a little bit requalify, learn just a little new things. And it was okay in the past. In the future, it will not be enough at all, because every few years there will be something completely new. And there is a big dilemma, big problem that all governments, American, Czech, European, talk about is how we can change education. So the education actually prepare people for the future and not for the past. And the most needed quality, personal quality in the future is adaptability. You need to adapt, and this is good you are here, so you are on a study abroad, because it is increasing your adaptability. You are facing, different traditions, different cultures. Continue this and increase your adaptability to different people, to different technologies, different ideas. This is another view. As GE is an active inventor or developer of new technologies, we publish every year. It's called Innovation Barometer, and we publish it usually during World Economic Forum in Davos. This time it was in March, I guess, in Davos. And this is from the report, one thing from the report. These technologies are the most popular, famous. You can hear about it in media, on TV, on internet. Are they hypes? Means marketing is exaggerating a little bit the impact of it or not. So they compared, from hundreds of surveys, they compared what people think if it is hype or real technology, disruptive technology or technology breakthrough. Now, I asked this question, so only if you want to add anything that is not on the list, anything was missing on the previous page or this page, if there's something that I don't see, we don't know, and you do. Yeah?
Self-driving cars.
Yeah, self-driving cars, yeah. So, are there? Driverless transport, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, self-driving cars, I believe in it, yeah. I think it will change. And for example, in the United States, I don't know how many, but this is a huge percent of low qualified workers actually are drivers, truck drivers. In 5 years probably from now, there will be self-driving trucks on your highways, and there will be thousands less jobs for these people.
I think you could even rent your car out though, as an Uber driver, but you're not driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I know there was another idea about solar panels. They wanted to put super durable solar panels in place of asphalt on the roads.
We have done that.
Interesting,
already.
Yeah.
We have done that.
Yeah, it was talk of doing them throughout the United
All right.
States.
Yeah, there are many like this that really can change the industry. This is what we call disruptive, because if they resolve the problem how to make it affordable, cheap, or with good price, then they will dominate the market, right? So here's the result. It's like the light blue is the real impact, and the dark blue is the origin, how popular, how famous is it today. So they believe that the right box here is something that is going to change our life almost immediately. And it includes this, they call it driverless network, but it's about the same principle. So full of sensors, a kind of artificial intelligence in the car that can react on new situations and can learn from it and become better and better. Nanotechnologies again, a lot about energy and smart cities. I move on, if you don't mind. But what I recommend you, don't believe in all that marketing or hypes that appear on internet or in media, because some of them are exaggerating. And the best is to compare what it could have as a real impact on your life. Is it useful, practical, or is it like nice to have? And then individually try to guess what will be the future direction. So we are active in several industries with our company, and I would like to speak about two things. Maybe the picture with the wind towers and the lines, streamlines. It is what we call digital twin, and this is a really mega trend in a lot of industries, in transportation, in power generation, and in building services and so on. So basically, you create something that is a digital copy of a real object, but with all physical properties. So it's not like a picture only that you can, like a AutoCAD 3D picture that you can just look at, but it has the properties. So because of it, we are able to simulate. We know what is the weather forecast, for example, and we can say, okay, how we should turn the towers, and we do some simulations in this digital picture. And then, from this digital model, from the digital twin, we get outputs, answer, how the power generation will be influenced by how we change the angles and how much power we generate from one tower versus another, and so on. It works so far well that there are some companies that work together with us that offer, for example, and this is I need to again go back. So you can be responsible for servicing Norway wind farm.
Now imagine, ladies and gentlemen, you were responsible for a wind farm in Norway. How would SAP Leonardo help you? Well, let me show you. What I'm seeing now is a representation of the world hanging in front of me. And I can see here those digital wind farms up there at the top.
You don't need to have these fancy goggles. You can do it on computer, but it's
now what I want to do is I want to bring,
a little bit exaggerating, but
sending
it's a
somebody
real
to
application.
Norway, we're going to use the power of SAP Leonardo and bring Norway to Orlando. So please watch the two outside screens as I issue the command, Copilot, take us to Norway. And what will happen now is we will see that the windmills that we see and we are responsible for in Norway suddenly appear. And here they are. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the digital twin. This is an exact replica of what's happening in Norway at the moment now. Now, obviously we have a problem here. The problem is typically stress related. So I can say, Copilot, show me stress map. And what will happen now is Copilot will show me the stresses on each of the different windmills. And I can see this one here in the middle seems to have a problem. So I'm now going to analyze this windmill in more detail. co-pilot, show me this windmill. And now I get a representation here of that windmill. Now, as Ben talked about this idea of different sensors, on this windmill, there are only 4 sensors, 4 physical sensors. But I would like to obviously analyze the area where the stress is. So what I can do now is I can place a virtual sensor, and using maths that you don't even want to think about, the mathematical calculations will be done, and it will be as if there was a sensor at that point. So, co-pilot, place sensor here. And what happens now is that sensor is placed, and you can see over here a representation of what that sensor, if it existed.
I believe that every physical object can be completely digitized, also with its properties. So it's just a matter of computer power, right? So I don't know, in the future, complete car, complete plane, airplane can be digitized, and you can simulate. So I think they used it. They're using it already in NASA. In some cases, when they have the satellites in the space, and the satellites have problems, so they can simulate it here on Earth, exactly with the same properties of the environment, and then decide what should we do, and then they send signals. So the same way, like you can pilot your power plant in Norway. And we have something like this in Austria, that this is the global center controlling of our small, not windmills, but small gas engines in the world. So, they don't use these fancy logos, but they simply have computers, but have sensors and equipment in, I don't know, India, Pakistan, and they can pilot it from Austria. And the second great thing that we did in GE, I want to show you, is this is an aircraft engine, turboprop engine, and it is related to this country because the global center of development of this new technology here is north of Prague, and the components like the complete gearbox or the fuel nozzle are almost in one piece. So the total number of the parts to assemble something like this, and the engine, it's a small engine, so let's say it's bigger than that. Originally it had 855 parts. Today they reduced it to 12 parts. So it is assembled from 12 parts today that are made on 3D printers. So these are parts that can sustain the pressure and the heat in the engine. So it's not plastic, it's metal or ceramic. It's a completely game changer in the industry. Have you seen 3D printer on industrial application? Does anybody have a 3D printer at home? Oh, you can buy it. You can buy it. It's like 2-3 years ago, I was walking on the streets in Paris, and I saw the first public 3D printer on the street. Like you could develop your. In the past, you had print offices, or you could develop your snaps. Films originally. Today they have public 3D printers. You pay €1 and you get printed parts. Yeah.
My brother just ordered one.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago.
So, and Christmas brought a 3D printer, but it's a kid's printer to my daughter, so she's experimenting with it today. All right. Yeah. Okay. I want to stay in the presentation. So now it's becoming interesting. Hey, if all these technologies are coming and they can do what we have been doing until now, there are certainly some jobs that are in danger, right? first row are those jobs with low qualification, like manual workers, storekeepers, cashiers. They already are reducing. Do you have questions? No, okay. But if we now think about it, these are the three big directions of all this technology. So it can do what? It can improve the connectivity. It can, the automation is not like mechanical, but it's flexible. It can do many different things. It can learn from and improve constantly. And the third is this artificial intelligence. So what are the jobs? What are the jobs that can be endangered by these technologies? And these are highly qualified jobs. White collars, like me, maybe also. Teachers, doctors.
I just think it's important to note that while many of these jobs might be going extinct, if you want to put it like that, but there are also so many more jobs that even by the time that we graduate college won't even have existed.
Yeah.
But, right, like don't exist right now. So I think that like there are jobs that are going out of the workforce, but there are also so many more that are being brought into it.
Absolutely. No, I'm not. I don't want you go away from this lecture and you would think that there will be millions of unemployed people. No, but people need to change. People need to requalify, and of course, you will have advantage if you start early in your career. If you really can identify what you like or what you are good in, and then you can focus, and this is the job of the future, this is a big advantage. If you start doing, like me, nuclear science, something you described, there are more power plants in Europe, right? So, this is not the best choice.
I think like part of what makes it a complex issue is that while there will be a lot more jobs when we graduate, the jobs that are going to become available require a higher level of education, and the jobs that are on the way out are more like
we'll go
for like unskilled like labor.
Father, I will explain what are the qualities. Yeah, what are the qualities that this is not highly specialized, highly qualified jobs. It's more about personal qualities that are in high demand and will be in even higher demand in the future. And this is I think the biggest message I have to you. This is not about your super qualification that you are expert in something like artificial intelligence. That's good, but probably there are only few people that are so smart, so intelligent, they can really develop it. But you need to have your personal qualities that are different or will be different in the future. So here are the jobs that are endangered. Connectivity, salespeople, we probably need less of them, right? It's about all these stores in America that are closing, because you can buy everything on Amazon. Customer services, so you know the phone lines. It can be a computer actually, artificial intelligence service that can do the same. Shop assistants, procurement specialist. I started my second career as a procurement specialist. Now when everything will be connected and the machine, if the machine in our factory needs a new part, the machine can call for the part itself. Or in the near future it will be like this. Then the flexible automation will change these jobs. Skilled workers, today still in car manufacturing, like Skoda or Volkswagen, or I don't know, in your country, General Motors, there are still workers that they connect all these robots together and they set up the machine and they press a button and it starts. But in the future, maybe even this can be eliminated. Machine operators, drivers, nurses in Japan, okay, they have the oldest population in the world, I guess. So they are, and they don't want to import immigrants working in their elderly houses, so they are developing robots. And the third category, this is about people like me. Artificial intelligence can be smarter than me. So people like analysts, lawyers, doctors, programmers, job interviewers. So your next job interview can be with a machine. All right. We have 40 minutes, about 30 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, I will skip this short video. And this is also about the generations. You are different generation than I, and maybe you are generation Y, generation Z, I'm not sure, maybe in between. The dates of your birth, it's not exact, I don't know, it can be plus minus 10 years, but still you can feel like I'm more Z than Y. Definitely you are not X, right? Are you? I feel like X, and there are jokes about our generation because they say that we are in the middle of the two most selfish generations, after us and before us. I don't know if it's if you can generalize like this, but how these generations are defined by your experience, my life experience, and then how you were formed and what technologies you adapted from your early age or you had to learn. I had to learn, but for many of you, everything about information technologies, communications, smartphones, even like wearable technologies, for you it is natural. So you even they say it's even worse that here people can become technoholics. So it means that become totally dependent on IT. So without IT, turn off the power, electricity, and you don't know how to continue work. You don't know what to do, maybe. You don't know how to contact your friends. So it can be a risk to be fully dependent on it. And certainly the risk is different point of view of these generations. And this is, I don't want to skip this video, this is funny, and I think also very educative what the differences are. So let's see.
Did I get the job?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because you're a baby boomer and I'm a millennial.
Well, Melanie, I am overqualified for this job.
I don't know where you got this. We don't do paper applications.
I made it. I don't do the internet.
Okay, that is the third time you have said that this interview, and it also says so on this homemade job application.
There you go, champ.
I don't know what this is for.
Don't you need a trophy anytime you... anything?
Oh, it's on. How'd you get here? Horse?
I drove my car. I own it. After 8 more payments. How'd you get here?
I took an Uber.
Do not know what that is. I bet you're a vegan.
Yeah, because I'm not a monster. Your generation is afraid of black people.
Your generation thinks you are black people.
Oh, word. Look at who you guys voted for.
Yeah, that's right. I voted.
Touche.
This is the only way you'll ever own a house.
Learning how to text is the only way you'll ever communicate with your son.
Alright guys, who took my Sheryl Crow album?
Gen X. You know what? You're hired.
I quit.
Dad!
Okay, so because I am probably an example of Generation X, so for me, this millennial and baby boomer, their philosophy is difficult to understand, but yeah, I think it very well represents the difference. And so pay attention during your interview. Not everybody, or during your job relations in general, not everybody is thinking like you. Have you heard about Stratify, this application? Anybody tried this? Stratify. Our company started using it. It's an interesting application for job seekers and for matching these job seekers and job offers. It's definitely for the young generation because it's just pictures. And there is a set of pictures, like 40 maybe, and you only answer, this is me, this is not me, and you click, 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 click. Like in what? Tinder, maybe? Left, sweep, right? So this is, and it builds your profile. And what is the job for you? So I really recommend go. You can you provide your email address and you can create your just fake address and it works as well. And then you get your profile. So in my case, it says that I'm a visionary probably, but I'm not so good inventor. So I'm not a person that can really invent new artificial intelligence. But I like it. I love it. So this is my profile here. We can try it. Maybe it takes like 2-3 minutes. Maybe we can do it online. Anybody wants to know his personality for potential job match? Anyone? Publicly? Okay. Come in and write yourself, because I will need your name and address, right? So.
How do you do this?
Yeah. It's loading.
On the main stage now.
Yeah. We have single sign-on in G. We are overprotecting our aspects.
What's your dream job?
My dream job?
Yeah.
It's a tough question. Something involved in space.
Really?
Yeah.
So no, maybe. I'm sorry, I have a connection, so. Okay, sorry. No.
Radim, if they were to go on the website and fill in the details, wouldn't they get access to that?
Yeah, this is they're about to match me with my dream job.
Wow, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Live right now.
It's gonna be
I'm even nervous. I know.
Yeah, okay. Take the assessment. Take the assessment, okay?
I'll take the assessment.
Yeah.
Is this like the assessment?
90 seconds, okay?
90 seconds.
Yeah, but you need to write your notebook scholar, so.
I'll just pretend I am in this.
Yeah, but you can write whatever you want, but it will require email address and some name that is realistic. And if you write your real email address, then you will receive the report. Not you. Phone is optional, and the company name, now you can skip from now. As a company, you can write you, me.
Cash out.
Generation difference. I would write 8 digits and here's Fabio who? Fabio X, Y, Z. That's okay, yeah, ready. Press ready. Job, so me. You don't have job, do you have job? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Let's go.
I'm ready. What's the skip key assessment? That's the whole point.
Okay. So, me, not me, okay?
Me or not me? Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You guys are going to get some real insight into my personality. You're all on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, you can
Sheer. Identifying patterns. That was a beehive.
Well, yeah. Why am I just what do you think? Oh, you scared me. I thought you were.
It's slow, I don't mind.
I thought it was rapid fire. It should be rapid fire, right?
I don't know why.
Teaching. Occasions.
Okay.
Oh.
So, in the meantime, I have a question to you. Are you trying it? No different? Okay. So, I know this is difficult for your generation, or I suppose, because waiting for something, waiting for results. It's we are used to it. You are not. Okay. So, and this is. There were several interviews actually saying that some psychologists say that the biggest problem and dissatisfaction of young people starting their first job is that you are in your instant type of interactions, and in the business it's not like this. It's work hard and one day you are promoted or something like so, not like next week or it's perseverance, taking time. These are qualities that are maybe harder for you than for us because we are used to this slow work. But on the other hand, you can react faster because you were trained in, example, computer games, right? So I am weak in computer games because I'm thinking about everything, even if it is reactions or just my brain thinking is slower than your problem. No, okay. Hey, you finished it at home, right?
Oh,
40 questions on
40 questions?
Yeah.
That'll take like 5.5
We apologize for the internet connection. This
I'm
is
sorry, I
connection.
wasn't good
This is
enough.
called 21st century connection here, okay? Last, yeah, okay. Identifying animal tracks. Okay, would you like job interview like this?
Yes.
Funny, you can do it from home, from your cell phone or tablet, and we can match if you are good for an analytical job or I don't know, people caring job or so. Okay.
That's not me.
That's not you.
No, I don't really.
Don't me and bye-bye.
Joining the military.
Soldier joining the military?
I mean, it's sure.
Sure.
Hey, yes.
It's working now.
That's me right now, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a bus.
Design.
No, not me.
Not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. I do my Yes. Yes. Somewhat.
It's binary, 1 or 0.
I do it, but not nothing. So no. Yes. Yes. Hopefully. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. 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 No, I like deep overs. Yes. 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 No. Those are yes. Sure. I don't know what that versus yes. 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 Yes.
It's adding questions. If you are cheating, it is adding questions. Just to verify, okay? Because it is artificial intelligence, it's not just...
Oh, I'm not cheating.
Okay.
I just like doing
I'm kidding, okay. Ambitious? Yeah, you are ambitious. I see.
Yes. No. No.
No?
Yeah, actually, I do it myself, so yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes. Hopefully. Yes. Yes. No. 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 Yes. No. This one's not. This one's no. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
And... visionary action taker.
I'm a visionary. Y'all are gonna see. Just wait 5 minutes. I'm gonna come up with this new technology. It's gonna be called the non-profit for conservation of wildlife.
So you have, this is, you know, this is public version. I had probably the paid version, so this one is just taken. You're a visionary action taker, okay?
I like it.
And you will receive email to the address that you provided, okay? Good.
I like dogs.
I like it.
But not doing something.
Okay, you know what? I do things when they come up, and I'll be like, put them on the list. And then I forget about it.
But you study marine life.
I do actually. I want to do marine biology.
So now, your colleague, she left, but she asked, so not everybody can be super smart, super good in, I know, IT or mathematics or engineering. We are different. And so this is not about overqualified people. This is about your personal characteristics that are really requested and will be more and more requested in modern companies, modern organizations. I'm from the business, but probably it will be very similar in the university or in a small private project or creative industry as well. So, what are the most wanted skills for the jobs of the future? I think there is certain logic I will explain. So it is not random order, but first of all, and I think if I say only one sentence, the biggest, or I said in the previous on the previous pages, I said that adaptability is important, and at the same level for me is problem solving. So there will be various problems, and problem solving, it means what? You need to assess what the real problem is, and you need to analyze information. We are bombarded by avalanche of information, and we need to really separate what is good, what is valuable information, and what is not good information. So first is assessing and analyzing, then critical thinking and learning. So it's, for me, for people that work for me or with me, it is perfectly acceptable that they fail, or I fail, but we need to learn from it. It is first when we repeat the same mistakes again and again. So, critical thinking and learning. So critical thinking is also inside, outside inside, or inside outside. So don't believe everybody, but also don't have so big self-esteem that you think that you cannot learn anything better than you have. Curiosity and imagination. So then you are at the stage that there is a problem, you analyze it, you learn something about it, you ask other people, and you start to see it from different perspectives. And then here is the problem solving. And the agility. So it means that it's not just you say, okay, I know how to do it, but this is not me to do it. Be agile. This is what the companies in the future, the organization in the future will require, that people really take action. Not wait to somebody, to the big boss or to the decision maker to do it. It will be you. Collaboration across networks. So it will be very complex, very difficult. You know what? Just after Easter weekend, I came to the office and instantly I have 17 new people reporting to me. But they are worldwide. I have never seen them, and I will probably never see them. But I need to work with them. I am responsible for them, and they are in China, India, America, Western Europe. None is actually in the Czech Republic. So, and I am their boss. So you need to learn how to work, collaborate across networks efficiently. Leading and coordinating, and how leading? By influencing or persuading. It will not be hierarchical, like I am the boss because I have this title. No, because I guess you don't accept this. People that just pretend to be your bosses, or because they have a nice business card. They need to have respect, natural respect, and authority that they learn from what they know and how they are. And again, it's going back again, so adaptability and flexibility to resolve the next problem, and so on and so on. So this is these are the skills that are needed more and more in the current organization. Initiative and entrepreneurship, because some of you will work on your own. You will not be part of big organizations, but you will offer your skills on the market for one customer here and another customer there, and you will work independently. This is again more and more general and popular in the developed markets. So there are like two categories that I highlighted here. The first skills, qualities are about you versus the world, and the others are about you versus the other people.
I just Just a question, Radim. Any particular reason why you didn't include emotional intelligence there? I think that's one.
Yeah, no, I think it is hidden in all those characteristics. But I have one slide, and I have like 2-3 more slides probably. So there is emotional intelligence is there, yeah. So how to learn? So what to learn? What do you need to have for the future to be successful? And how? There are online courses, right? Some are free, some are paid. Again, there is abundance. There are too many, so you need to select. And which to select is follow influencers, right? Online forums on Twitter, for example. I like Twitter. It's like more professional. I don't like on LinkedIn. It's okay, but I think the interface is terrible. So I prefer Twitter, more actionable, faster. Then focus on emerging skills. Job requirements are evolving, so you need to know what the companies are looking for. And it could be very different this year from what it was 2 years ago. So pay attention. Don't learn something that is still in online courses because it was popular 2-3 years ago. Okay? Interdisciplinary awareness. This is much more valuable, important than specialization. Get synchronous, put everything together. This is like multi-skills, cross-training, we call it in manufacturing, but in different organizations. So when you try to resolve your problem, and as I said, adaptability and problem solving are the two biggest, then you need to look in it from different perspectives and use whatever is possible available. Implement learning immediately, try it, accept fails and learn from it. And be practical, be entrepreneurial, so set goals. If you invest your time is money, or if you invest in paid online courses or real courses, like you go abroad, so you pay, well, I know your parents paid, right? But it's investment. So what is the return on investment? How quickly I can really use it? Is it nice to have these skills, or it is something that it will increase my my price on the market? So be practical. So goals and so it is exactly answering what was requesting on the previous page. So stay current. So what you teach in the universities, these are courses that are okay, but they were built years ago and they were just maybe modified a little bit, but this is traditional education. So to stay current, you need to be more agile. And so there are many new things that are not yet in the standard university courses. Focus. It is you need to you cannot learn everything, right? I like playing guitar. I like biking. I like skiing. I like playing golf. But I cannot master all four. I have time capacity only for one or two, maybe. Okay. Flexible, so interdisciplinary approach, and understand a little bit what's going also in the field that I'm not an expert, but I like to be aware of. Creativity, agility, so really take an initiative, be entrepreneurial. And be entrepreneurial, okay? So we are going almost to the end. This slide I can skip, and you can save time for questions. But just remember, and you will have the slides, right? You can put it on your box canvas. Right? So another interesting source of information about what's going to happen, and it has a crazy name, Institute for the Future. So scientific approach. They are in Palo Alto, California. And they are sponsored, it's a non-profit organization, non-government organization, they are sponsored by big companies, big names. And they have very interesting articles, information, like for example, alternative futures, what could be possible. So they create like a scenario, and you can read it, there are some short videos, and it shows you what could be in your neighborhood in 20 years, for example. It's like a simulation or alternative future. Institute for the Future. But they are talking pretty much about the same qualities, personal qualities that will be needed and why in future employment. So, to conclude, this is like a timeline. I came from the generation when everybody was valued or can succeed in the career with his or her intelligence, so IQ was important. Okay? Today, we are, and you can hear it from everywhere, EQ, emotional qualities, emotional quotient, how you can interact with other people. This is still important. On the top of it, there is also EQ. So, in some way, the past, until now, and from now, and together with the past, but on the top of it, the EQ and what it is. So this is adaptability, as I called it before. And to summarize everything what we have been talking about this afternoon is on this page. So there are like five features: personal quality or person's quality, acquired how they achieved it, career path, professional life cycle, career goal. This is my interpretation, but I think it summarizes what I was talking about. Intelligence acquired by education. There was a linear career path. People usually stayed in their area of expertise, and the career goal was hierarchical power. It's still in many organizations today like this, but in some others that are, let's say, better organized, they value emotional skills. Networking is the tool how to acquire this emotional skills. So you need to interact with many people and learn from them and are part of the teams. I call this career path as expanding balloon because it is not linear. Okay? You can expand your network and your authority expands together with this balloon. And these people have few opportunity changes, so they are opportunistic. If there is a better offer, job offer in different organization, they go there, but this is usually not far from their previous expertise. And their goal is reputation, credibility. What I am forecasting for the future, and with all this, maybe not, because we know how reliable these predictions are. I'm expecting that adaptability is the most important in the future. How to acquire adaptability is by curiosity, so learn as many things as you can, read different things that you are used to, go out from your social bubbles and group of interests, find some others. So purposely, for example, in this new medias, enroll, subscribe to something that has opposite views on the politics, environment, people than you usually have, and learn from it. Okay? Then I think the career path will be seriously disruptive and parallel. So you can have like 3-4 jobs that altogether will earn your money to have your lives. So it won't be linear, it will not be even like opportunistic, but parallel and disruptive. So the jobs can be very different. So you can be like, I don't know, fitness trainer. In the same time, you can teach mathematics or social skills in the university, and in the same time, you can participate in some development, online development of, I don't know, computer games or whatever. So your goal should be stay current, increase personal value. So you should have, because you will be entrepreneurial, sometimes working independently, sometimes in the organization, but not for long, but for a few years only. So you need to increase your value. Imagine yourself like a product that you want to sell. And if you follow this, hopefully you will be successful. Okay? So this is what I wanted to tell to you, and then let's have a few questions. How do you feel? Future is bright, or future is dark, or foggy?
What technology are you most excited about or looking forward to coming in the future?
Say again?
What technology are you most excited about? That's, you know.
I think I like all this A that I mentioned on my slides. So I think artificial intelligence is really something that is perturbing me.
Yeah.
I'm not completely positive, because I feel it can be also a threat. But it is something that will change the most of our lives.
Yeah.
All the rest is just accessories. Once we have artificial intelligence that is smart or smarter than us, then everything can happen, and it can be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that scare you? That's kind of what I'm like going off of. Like, what technology or like what advancement do you think we should be most worried about? Like the most concerning advancement that we can make?
Yeah. So, again, what we should be the most worried? It's the same answer.
Yeah.
Because it will have the biggest impact. So, and not all technologies have impact on people's lives, and these impacts are not always positive. So I wrote it to this question. It's not always positive. So, but as usually, winners are people that are aware and prepared, and losers are those that ignore. Okay? So yeah, you can decide. All right.
There was actually, Radim, a very interesting talk which was sent to me by a colleague. This is from Mo Goda, and he was an ex-employee of Google. And he's talked about just what we mentioned now, about artificial intelligence and what can happen. So it's extremely important to pass on the correct values, because what we're going to create is going to basically absorb those values, and it's, it's all the more important now.
Yeah. And that's why you can perfectly find and study courses like psychology of ethics of artificial intelligence. It could be useful in 10 years from now.
It's so important.
And you don't need to know mathematics. It's about psychology and it's artificial intelligence. So anyway, thank you.